Yeah, right.
And I'm going to have somebody come in and um, I'm going to have somebody come in and straighten this out, because I don't know a lot about Facebook, and I'm not qualified to give you instruction on it.
Okay, well, I think I know people that do.
Yeah.
So let me try them
I'd go with
first.
them. I'd stick with your daughter.
Yeah.
But I will say this. They're not going to your Facebook page to get a commercial.
Exactly. Although some people do. She said
Well,
I unfriend those people. Yeah.
Some people rob banks too, but I don't suggest
Yeah,
you
I
do
kept
that.
seeing people do it, and I thought, well, can I do this? But I said, I don't think so. She said, you're right, you can't.
You can, but no,
Yeah,
you're just wasting your time.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You know, you want people to feel comfortable with Roberta before she says, hey, I can help you next time you take a trip.
Yeah.
So comfortable is the key, and it's social. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't want you to spend a lot of time on social networking. I mean, it's the easy way to do it. You can get onto your computer and you can chit-chat and you can go on forever. A couple of minutes, 10 minutes a day, 30 minutes a week, whatever it is. But get in, give your message, and then get back to business.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Easy way to get. I think it's a trap, and I think I'm not suggesting it's not a fad, it's not a trend, but you can waste a lot of time on between Twitter and Pinterest and LinkedIn and Facebook. Now, every once in a while, you're going to get some guy that made $14 million doing it, but I also read about a guy who made $14 million playing the lottery, and that doesn't mean it's a shoo-in.
Yeah.
So just keep that in perspective. We haven't started yet, folks. So the people who popped in, we're just chatting. Roberta and I are chatting. Anybody else want to chat while we're here?
Just checking to see if my mic is working.
Yep, you're alive, Arvid. Welcome back from where'd you go, to the moon?
Just about.
Yeah, you were gone a
we did
time.
a transatlantic to Iceland. It looked like the moon in places.
Hey, was it a good trip?
Yeah, we had some detours and stuff because of the 3 hurricanes. We had Kirk, Leslie, and Michael, so we missed Newfoundland, but we made every place else. And the captain was good about finding smooth seas. We only had one semi-rough day, so he was pretty good.
Boy, oh boy! I tell you, how do you find? I understand an airplane running from weather, but a ship running from a hurricane—that's tough to do.
Well, he pre-planned it, and a couple of the times he was doing 23 knots.
Wow, that's flying.
Yep.
That's out. It doesn't get much faster than that, as a matter of fact, for people who don't know.
Yeah, he did some unusual things. He did the inside passage between the Hebrides and Scotland, which really smoothed things out for that day. So
cool.
And we got to see some great scenery too.
That's great. Well, welcome back, safe and sound. I see Christy. Christy, anything from you to kick things off? Anything? Your mic working? Madison, how about you? Hey, Big Brother's watching. I know when you guys are popping in here. I got a couple of things I could share with you, but this is open mic. This is not a sales meeting, so anybody, this is designed for people to come in and ask questions or to share with the other people. So this is the week that you guys are supposed to be driving. That's what time is it? Still a couple of minutes. Some more people popping in.
While we're waiting, I don't know if you heard about that accident we had on the Jewel of the Seas.
I did not.
That's when we're going into Claflin in the Faroe Islands.
Yeah.
They have 6 power lines going across the fjord, and evidently one of them had sagged down about 20 feet or so. And it fortunately it wasn't powered on, but it still ended up ripping off the electronics and the top radar on their radar mask and one of the funnels of the ship. So that was a little bit exciting. The interesting thing was when they got to Iceland, we had 2 days in Reykjavik, and they had that they'd flown in parts and stuff, and the crews in Iceland plus the ship's crew had that ship totally repaired with a new funnel addition and the radar backup and all the electronics on within 24 hours. That was an amazing job.
That's good. Although I question, the guy might be good at running from hurricanes, but he's not too good at judging low-hanging wires.
Well, he'd been in there 2 months before, and they're supposed to have 60 meters clearance, and something happened to that one line where it was, hanging down about an additional 20 feet. Yeah, and nobody knows why.
The only other place I know that has a wire across water like that is down in southern Italy, from Sicily over to what's the name of that place? I forget. But there's a wire, I think, going right across the water there.
At the Straits of Medina.
Yeah, that's the only. Otherwise, you get on a ship, you don't worry about low-hanging wires normally. I guess you do. Although going down the Hudson, you worry about bridges. I was on one of those celebrities out of Bayonne, and I swear we missed the Verrazano Bridge by feet. I don't think
same problem. Same going into New Orleans too. There's some low places.
Some old bridges there. Yeah, holy cow. Well, I hear, and I don't know what I'm talking about here, but I understand the riverboat cruising that's picking back up on the Mississippi. No, I think this is in Europe. I think that they have the pilot stations sink down into the ship to get under some of those bridges. Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, we're going to go on one next month.
What's that?
We're going on the Uniglobe next October 24th.
Man, that's very cool. Very cool. I'm going to have a report for you guys at the end of November. I'll be on the Danube on AMA waterways, and we've never done a river cruise, and I'm really excited about that. And what I'm planning on doing, let's see how good this plan works, but what I'm planning on doing is taking a lot of video and kind of making like a little story out of it, and then give it to AMA and see if they want to use it. I don't know how good it'll be, but as a thank you, I'm going to plan on doing a little video on from Prague or south of Prague down to Budapest.
Yeah, we're going from Nuremberg down to Vienna, and I'll give you a report.
Nothing but good stuff about it.
Yeah, we've done almost a similar cruise. We went from Passau to Vienna, going down to Budapest and stuff on Peter Diamond about 10 years ago, or it's about 8 years ago.
Well, don't tell me anything, because I don't want you to ruin my trip.
You'll love it.
Oh, good. That's what I want to hear. I've heard nothing but good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's get started. I think some folks phoned in without being on the computer. I talked to Roberta. I talked to Arvid. Christy, do you have anything you want to share with us today? I'll take that as one of two things, either no or I can't find my microphone. Madison, anything you want to ask? Okay. Is anybody not on the computer who's on the phone?
Schaefer's here.
Hey, you're always here in the bushes. You come, you hide in the bushes, and you steal all the good information, and then you disappear.
That's the way it works, Mike.
Well, I got bad news for you, pal. We're going to start holding these meetings at 9 o'clock in the morning. You got nothing to say to that, huh?
No comment.
No comment on that one. Okay, who else is hanging in the bushes there? We got Joe Santoni just popped in. I don't know if Joe's on the computer or on the telephone. We'll know in a minute here. All right, well, listen, I'll take over this show. I don't care. I'm not shy. Hold on 1 minute. I'm going to see if I can advance this slide. I'll tell you what happened here. This is probably a familiar postcard for you folks. It was brought up by one of our members and out of her magazine, and said that we could use it. And remember, it was really cool. Well, one of our members used it and gave it. I just got this morning, and I just think this is really cool. You're going to read this. I don't care who you are. You are going to read this postcard, and in doing so, it's gonna just stimulate your thinking. It's gonna stimulate your bucket list. It's gonna do something. I don't know what it's gonna do, but it's gonna do something. But here's the message today. That's the back of it. What you're looking at now is the back of it, and notice there's no place to write or anything. That's just the message. There's the message. There's the billboard, the advertisement right there. Okay. So you come over here to the front, and it's very important when you do postcards, if you do postcards, not to have glossy on both sides, because if you do, you won't be able to write on them. Just keep that in mind, that if it's glossy, you think, oh, this is really cool. It's not cool. You want matte on one side, and the side you want to do the writing. But here's the message, and I'm not totally, absolutely 100% positive that this holds true in this case, but I am 100% positive that it held true in my case a couple of years ago. I printed postcards, 5,000 of them. They came in a box with about 50 pounds of paper in them. It was the heaviest thing you ever saw. It's 5,000 postcards. And I sent it, and it came back to me. I sent it out to a person, and it was returned to me. And I brought it to the post office, and I said, what's this all about? And don't quote me, because I haven't confirmed this yet, but I want to raise this flag just so you check it. I was told that it will be sent to the lowest address on the paper. So in my case, I had my return address along the bottom of the postcard, and it was sent back to me. It was my return address, and they sent it to me. So I then went back to my printer, and I said, you know, fellas, you, of all people, doing 5,000, you should know this. Now, they probably said, no, it's not my business. I print what you tell me to print. But I think they should know that. So I had 5,000 postcards. I went back to the printer, and I said, you guys, you should print this again for me. And they did. Okay, they did for me. So they ate it. But I saw this from Caprice today, and I said, holy cow, that address is dangerously low. Now, if she has white space underneath the blue banner, I'm not saying it's going to come back to her, but what I'm telling you is that I was told that they will send it to the lowest address. So I just asked Caprice, I said, just go check that out, and if you handwrite these postcards, make sure you write it real big so there's no mistake. But to me, if I was doing this, I would have the return address somewhere up higher than that white bar. That's all I'm telling you. Okay, so take it or leave it. I don't know if this is a red flag, but I'm telling you, I was sent 5,000 of them that were garbage. So I want to just pass that on. Just make sure you check it out yourself. Okay, before we go here, before we go to that letter I was talking about, Annette, you're on the telephone. Annette, I don't know if you're live or not, but is there anything you want to bring up, Annette?
I am alive.
Hey, you're alive! Holy cow! Look at you.
No.
What do you have? What do you have to save our life? Share something that is going to save our life. What have you learned? What have you? Wait, let me rephrase that. What have you screwed up lately that you don't want us to screw up?
Well, yes. I just got off the phone with somebody that was thinking they were going to do a last-minute New Year's cruise. And I was excited. The date. When I started looking at flights, I am so programmed already to be doing 2013. Double check your years. Because I was doing quoting 2013 for a 2012.
Ooh, there you go. All right, so the message there is, as we approach the new year, make sure you got your year straight.
Yes.
Yep, and that stuff happens. I was on a webinar. I was a guest on a webinar today, and the person came back and said, we're going to do 11:45 rehearsal. And I said, well, that's okay with me, but your program's not till 1 o'clock. And lo and behold, they look, they go, oh, I meant 12:45. So So people
Right.
do get the digits wrong. Double check. That's your job. That's why we pay you. And Annette, make sure they get the right quote.
Yes. And when I started looking at air, it was easy to understand because the dates were Fridays, and I'm thinking, this ship doesn't go on Friday.
Yeah.
So it's easy.
It is easy, and you know, we all have our war stories on not reading the small print. And if I were you, I would have on my card, my name is Mike. I read the small print. When do we do business? That's it. That's the end of the story.
I like that.
Yep. Because that's what we need. We need somebody to clean up after us. You know. Hey, Jen, how about you, Jen? What's new? Now, either Jen just fell off the chair saying, "How did he know I was on?" or "I didn't want to talk," or "I'm going to become an accountant." One of those three things. Jen, anything for us today? You don't have to speak. Just stay silent. I'll move right off because I know somebody who'll talk. The next guy in line. Hey, Joe, what do you have today, Joe?
There. I think I just turned my mic on. How you doing, Mike?
Yes, you did, Joe. How you doing, guy?
It's terrible. You don't really want me to tell all of these people what I did, do you?
No, but because you told us that the mic didn't work, I bet you Jen's talking and she doesn't even know that her mic's off. I got to be careful there. Go ahead, Joe. We'll go back to Jen in a minute. What do you have for us?
Well, you know what my brainstorm of the week was.
Well,
I'm busily writing up a home page for a new website, and I ask all kinds of interesting questions like, "Are you sick of mundane crap?" And then I proceeded to direct them to mundane crap.
Yeah,
It's about dumb.
Yeah, it's you know, it's funny. I don't know, mundane stuff. We'll call it mundane stuff for the moment. But I know the word. I use that word myself, Joe. But people, we've seen it. We've seen it. We've heard it. We've tasted it. Give me something a little bit different. You know, give me something a little bit new, and not. You can be a little wacky. You got to be careful because everyone doesn't have the same sense of humor. I wrote something today. Somebody asked me for 3 PowerPoint titles for a speech I'm giving, and I said excellence, but boom, achieving excellence, and the third one was who made the bean soup, and I said, you know, the 2 things about excellence, everybody's heard those, and they may read them or may not read them, but I guarantee you, everyone will read the title, Who Made the Bean Soup. And then I said, but this person may not have my sense of humor, so I capitulated. I'm embarrassed to tell you, I took number 3 off, and maybe I shouldn't have, but I did. But there you go. So the point is, we can't bring me your personality. Okay, I might decide not to do business with you, but let me know who I'm working with. Let me know who I'm dealing with. So I say, be a little bit wacky. That's what I say. And I'm, for one, I'm a little getting tired of the political correctness. But then I took the bean soup off. So who am I to say?
I don't know.
Incidentally, the title of their program was Food for Thought. So I mean, the bean soup, you know, it was food for thought. So I thought that it kind of tied in with the title of the program. So Joe, back to you. We don't give them mundane stuff. You know, give them some of Joe. Give them some personality. Give them. Now you can always back out. They might say, "No, give me the mundane stuff." You can always go back to that. But
there's a little thing at the bottom that says, "If you want it, click here," and then I go to business.
Yeah, you know, I read something that I kind of like. I got to develop it over time. But instead of, "Hey, can I meet with you?" A meeting. A meet is kind of mundane. Let's meet.
Everybody does.
Yeah, everybody meets with people. So they suggested in this new Kindle thing I'm reading to use the word visit. And I'm going to try it. I'm going to say, "Hey, listen, let's visit for a little bit, and then we'll know if we're right for each other. You know, just a little visit." And I'll tell you kind of where I heard that once before. It was if my father, when I went to college, said, "Don't ask a co-ed for a drink. Don't say, 'Hey, you want to go out for a drink?' Because that could be misleading and it could be intimidating. So if you want a perfect track record, ask a co-ed if you want to go out for an ice cream cone. They will say yes to that 100% of the time because it's so non-intimidating. And the ice cream cone may be washed down with a drink, but let's get one step at a time. And I tried that, and it worked. So we have to say stuff that isn't going to sound like everyone else, intimidate everybody else, and maybe a visit is it. I haven't worked on the phraseology yet, but I like the concept.
Mike,
You don't have to be scared of me. Don't be scared. You may not do business with me, but for heaven's sake, don't be scared of me.
But aren't
Mike,
you right back to
sure
being
that
BC?
co-ed is not an elementary school.
Yeah. Was that the North Carolina talking?
That was North Carolina.
Yeah. My father also said check the driver's license first. Okay, there you go. But anyway, Joe, what were you saying? You were walked on by Mr. North Carolina there.
Yeah, but it was worth it. Trust me.
Yeah.
As far as the PC goes, and being a little crazy, somebody, I can't remember his name, he said something about, I think it was from the Spinnaker Club, he said, pick the people you want to do business with, and say goodbye to the others.
Well, no, because I know who you're talking about. The guy's very intelligent. However, he said, pick the ones you want to do business with. Target the people you want to do business with. Go after the people you want to do business with. But don't say goodbye to the rest unless that's what you want to say. I mean, they could go into your B list or C list of I'll get to them later. But right now, I'm going to focus on my A list, which are these 10 people. And this book, this simplicity selling I'm reading now, folks, it's a 3-tier approach. It's target, select your weapons, and then do something. I mean, the whole concept of the book is tell me who you want to do business with, and don't point to a list of papers saying those people. Don't point to a directory and say that's the directory I'm doing business. Give me a concrete, written down piece of paper, 1, 2, 3. You tell me who you want to do business with. That's step 1. Now, Joe's saying, if it's only 20 people, what about number 21? Well, don't throw 21 to 48 away. Just put them there next. Let me work with this 21 first, and then select how am I going to get known or visible. How are these people? How am I going to shake this person's hand? How am I going to introduce my name? How am I going to sit down and have a visit with them? How am I going to find out what their pain is or what they're looking for? How am I going to find out what they're unhappy with currently with who they're doing business with? And you decide it could be a seminar, it could be emails, it could be sales letters, it could be events, it could be webinars, it could be a lot of things. So you pick your weapons. First you target, then you pick your weapons, and then you use your weapons. You implement, you do it. And then you do it again and again and again and again until something happens. So they really simplify it. But to go back to Joe's point, that yes, if I come across somebody who looks like a very, very low prospect, I'm not gonna spend time with you. I'm gonna not do that. And it's not because you're a bad guy or I'm a bad guy. It's just because I have a limited amount of time to get the job done, and it's got to be with the A or B plus accounts.
I mean, either you click or you don't, and if you don't,
you can tell.
You're wasting each other's time.
You can tell. I mean, you can tell chemistry works. I mean, you meet somebody and you just immediately like them, or you just immediately couldn't get away with them fast enough. I mean, they're just not my kind of person. It doesn't make them bad. I just don't want to bark up that tree. And in sales, there's a matter of fact. I just talked to one of my clients, a consulting client, who fired one of her clients, one of her customers, because she was going on a 2-week trip, a tour, whatever you call it, with a host, and this woman was a royal pain in the neck. And if she's a pain in the neck on the phone with my people, she's going to be a pain in the neck on the bus and in the hotel and wherever else we go. So she said, listen, I'm sending you your deposit back. You're not riding with us, period. And what do you mean? You can't do that. Yes, I can do that to you. You're not going to ride with me.
Smartest thing
you
she could
You
do.
can go to Alaska if you want. Go buy a ticket. You're not being penalized. Here's your money back. Have a nice life. So you can do that. And then what happens, of course, they put their tail between their legs and they beg for you to work with them. Fire somebody and they'll come running right back to you. But any event, I don't know if that answered that question or not. Bob, anything from you, Bob, that you want to share with us?
Couple things. In fact, they relate to topics that we've discussed previously in the Inner Circle. One of them, yesterday I went to a small trade fair. And the only reason I went was I knew the people who were hosting it, and they invited me to participate at no charge. Well, the old adage, you get what you pay for, couldn't have been truer. I was tucked in a corner, and I spoke to absolutely no one in 3.5 hours. But following your advice, when I saw that no one was coming to me, I got out and walked around the show. And by the time I left, I had 4 group prospects, not from the people who visited the show, but from contacts with other vendors at the show. It was not a travel show. It was broader than that. I was the only travel vendor there, but meeting other exhibitors or vendors gave me the opportunity to build some relationships, and I've got a spa resort community that is going to be hosting a spa cruise on Celebrity, and 2 other cruises that a magazine wants to promote as their own, and a separate senior living community wanting to do a group cruise. And so I walked away saying, gee, this was really worthwhile, and I didn't have to talk to any of the boring people who visited the show.
Hey, Bob, you just said something. I don't even think, you're so experienced, and which is my political correct way of saying old. You're so old, Bob. You don't even know the wisdom that comes out of your head sometimes. I mean,
see what comes out of the other end.
Yeah, well, that's brilliant. I mean, what you just said, my man, is brilliant. And I'll tell you why I say that. I go to trade shows all the time, and they're travel-related type shows in my case. But you walk down the aisle, and you see a booth that has 55 people in it because they're giving away a T-shirt or something. I don't know. But then you look at this other booth, and you see a person sitting behind a 6-foot desk, and you know what's going on. No one has walked into their booth for 2 hours, and you know they're saying, what am I doing this for? Why did I take this job? I flew to Chicago. I set up the booth. This is, you can just see it going through their head. They're just having a miserable time being lonely. Well, they have your name written all over it. If you walk in with your friendly personality, they'll love you just because you're giving them something to do for the next 2 minutes. And for every trade show, Bob, there's probably, I bet you conservatively, there's 20 people there that just hate it in the booth, behind the booth, and would just love you to come in and be interested in whatever it is they're hawking. And then, politely, you just say, well, listen, I don't buy remote control garage door openers, but this is my business, and if I can ever help you, give me a call. I enjoy talking with you. I mean, it's brilliant. So now you go to trade shows and you just look for all of the people who hate it, and you become their hero. And I might add, the same philosophy, the same strategy holds true at networking meetings. There's one guy holding court with 3 people. He doesn't need your help. But they go over to the other one with some guy standing with his gin and tonic staring at his shoelaces, and you could be his hero by going over and introducing yourself and getting into his world for 3 minutes, leaving your card, and then get out of it as fast as you can.
Yeah, it works.
Oh, man, I think it's brilliant. I think thanks for sharing that. That's
well,
really cool.
The other thing is, you've been espousing the idea of handwritten notes. And fundamentally, I think it's a good idea, but I haven't taken the time to do it. Well, I got home from a group cruise Sunday night, and when the mail was delivered on Monday, there was a little 4x5 envelope with a note card in it. And it was from the president of a cruise line that won't, I'll tell you the name. It was Oceania Cruises, and the president of Oceania Cruises. And it was a handwritten note from him that said, Bob, congratulations on your best month ever. August came in at X dollars, exclamation, exclamation. Thank you for all that you do. And that's all he said in that note card. However, that note card made me really want to do even more business with those people. And I know it came from him because of the handwriting. No secretary or administrative assistants would have handwriting that looks like this. And I said, wow.
You know, he came to my seminar the other day, and I told him to write it or I won't give him his money back.
Well, then he obviously was paying attention because it was a real wow factor. And I'm saying, geez, Mike was right. I need to start writing those little note cards.
Well, wait a second. Why does your house have to burn down before you realize you need a fire extinguisher?
Well,
now let me ask you this, Mr. Schaefer. Let me ask you this, point blank, and I'm going to ask you again in a couple of weeks when I see you face to face. Is there anything else that I've told you that you tried?
Not really.
Well,
I did try that restaurant in New Jersey.
Wait till the president of Holiday Inn tells you, then you'll do it.
Okay. You didn't expect me to answer that question in the affirmative,
Of course
did you?
not.
Okay.
Of course not.
I did like that restaurant you recommended in New Jersey. Other than that, I can't think of a thing.
Yeah, that was my brother-in-law's, and it was too noisy, right? I remember you were in Chatham that day.
Right.
I remember that. Well, anyway, that's great, and I'm telling you,
the point was, it really made an impact, and it was both the unexpected nature of it and the fact that here was the president of a cruise line took the time to do that. Number one, that he even knew that I was alive, and number two, he knew what my August sales figures were. And I'll tell you, I deal with a lot of other travel vendors that don't have a clue what my sales figures are.
Yep. Well, that's a very, very cool testimonial to a strategy that works. And our grandparents taught us that, for heaven's sakes. I mean,
of course.
It works. And
excuse me, I have a question. How did you know he was the president?
Number one, I've met him in the past, and it's the note card is his personal note card.
So it has president on it?
Oh, yeah. It's got his name and president imprinted at the bottom. And the cruise line's name imprinted at the top of the card.
All right, now let's
card.
Let's pick on that, Bob, because that's a very good point in that, and that is this. You and I have received Christmas cards, and we will because the season's coming.
Right.
And they're embossed with somebody's family's name in it.
Right.
All right. Now, did they send the card? Yes. Did they stamp it? Yes. Did they seal it and mail it? Yes. Do I get any fuzzies from that? No. Now, call me a moron. I don't care what you call me, but if you're going to send me an embossed Christmas card, let me save you the $1.50. Don't do it. Okay? Because it means nothing to me. It just means that I'm on the 200 on your list. You told your daughter to go ahead and do something. Right? Write me a note. Ask me, pick up on something. Mike, how are you? How's the hill? How's your tractor? How's whatever it is? Tell me something. Now, I give the now, step number 2, of course, this guy might not have written it. Bob thinks he has. I'm sure he did, but he might have had a secretary do it. Who knows? I mean, that's the president's trick. I mean, that's a lot of busy people. They do that. But if it's personal and if it's real, it's really cool. And from your notes, they're going to be really cool because they are going to be personal. A friend of mine just bought a baseball from Babe Ruth. He gave it to his son. Autographed by Babe Ruth, and he brought it up to Cooperstown to have it checked out, and the guy says, no question about it, that's Babe Ruth's wife's signature. So Babe Ruth would be going playing cards, having a couple of pops with the boys, and he told his wife, here, sign these 4 dozen baseballs, I'll be back by midnight. And, she signed his autograph. But I don't, I told him, I said, get 5 opinions before you throw the ball out.
Well, this signature is not worth the price of a Babe Ruth baseball.
Well, no, I'm sure that's the real deal.
But this one probably is the real deal. And what impressed me the most was it has my exact August sales number in it.
Yeah.
And it was 20 words.
Yep.
So it's, this wasn't a sales letter that somebody wrote or that was generated by a computer. It was 20 words. Actually, he printed the darn thing, and had it been somebody else, they would have made it look a little neater.
Yeah.
It was.
It
looks like it was written by a 6th grader. So I know it was for real.
And you felt really good, right?
No, it was a wow factor.
It was a wow factor. And a lot of people don't do it, Bob. My point here is a lot of people don't do it. I can't do that. My penmanship is no good. That's
right.
Their excuse. And you said this guy has chicken scratch. I read through it, put it upside down. I think that's the word. How cool was that? So
totally.
I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear you can have a cup of coffee, a gin and tonic, a double martini Friday afternoons at 5 o'clock, scratch off 1 card, and you're a hero.
Well, the kicker was this. What you said about the handwriting is true. I looked at that a second time and said to myself, gee, I can write better than that. I should be writing some cards.
Oh, man, I'm finally getting to you, Schaefer.
Yeah.
And I didn't even do it. It took some cruise guy.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
But you
All
can
right.
bet I will be steering more and more clients to that cruise line.
Well,
because it's the kind of company I want to do business with.
Little tiny things work. It's as simple as that. Little tiny things work. And thanks for sharing that, Bob. I hope that everybody's tuned in because that's a great, great story. And I think under the same guise, but a little different. I don't know if I told you this last week during the sales meeting or not, but when I got back from Red Rock, the driver and some guy early in the morning. Did I tell you this, Bob? You were there, right?
Yeah.
Did I tell this story about the guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wrote the letter, and I got a letter back from the sales manager saying, you made my day. And the reason being is because no one takes the time to do that. If you take the time, I don't care what you write. I don't care what your handwriting is. If you take the time to acknowledge someone, it will work in your favor. End of story.
Now, not all of my mail on Monday was as positive.
Uh-oh.
I also had an invitation from the IRS to review my 2010 tax return.
Oh, Jesus.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
there goes-
this week has had its ups and downs.
Oh, there goes your 2013 dues. It's been nice knowing you,
got it.
Bob.
Yeah.
that was, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know this, gentlemen, that was Bob's subtle way of saying, I'm out of here. Okay. All right, well, good luck on that one. Remember,
Well, the last
yes,
time we
yes
had
sir,
an
and no,
August-
sir. Yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. That's all you say. Don't
Yeah,
And don't
keep your
volunteer
trap
or
shut.
anything.
You're right. But the last time I had one of these was 3 years ago, and they sent me a check. So I'm looking forward to it from that perspective.
Yeah, my money's on the IRS, but I hope I lose.
I bet you were betting on Green Bay.
Yeah. I lost the house last Monday night.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Holy cow! Hey, listen, Andy, you have something for us, Andy?
Hey, You really made my day by hearing that people are going to be standing at my booth being all down and depressed.
Yeah. No, that's it. Now listen, Andy, listen, that's a good point. I was hired once to go to the Sailboat Association. They have these sailboat boat shows. They had boat shows in Annapolis and out in Oakland, and I went around, and I had the booth guys. I mean, I said, give me the booth people for the day before the program. Give me those people. And I had to remind everyone who just spent $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 for a booth, I had a session with them reminding them of the enormous opportunity that was right in front of them. Mm-hmm. And I said, and here's what you see at trade shows, which is absolutely bizarre, is Monday, everyone's fired up. They get tired. They're on their feet all day long. Then Tuesday, they're a little more tired. The show goes till 5 o'clock on Wednesday. Well, what happens at 2 o'clock on Wednesday? Everybody starts packing their booth up.
Early.
Yeah, early. They do, and they quit early. And I said, listen, the show was till 5. You're working till 5. And there's a chance that someone is late walking around that's going to make your day because you're there at 5 o'clock working, and they're going to notice that. Everyone else is packing up early, acting like morons, and you got to remind them.
Yep.
And you paid to be here, so be here. Working a trade show is not easy. It's a tough thing.
I already put down in my notes to have some of my girls go around to the ones that are looking lonely and talk it up.
Boy, I'm telling you, you'll get business. As long as you don't do it, Andy. I don't want you to go around because you might say something.
No, not me.
No. But I mean, it's a great opportunity. I love that. Incidentally, without saying anything out of school, Andy is rolling the dice on a new project. He has absolutely no idea if it's going to work or not. It looks like it's going to work famously, but you don't know. But I just applaud him for stepping out of the comfort zone, saying, hey, let's try something and see if it flies. I'll let you know the day after if it worked or not. And he's going to do you want to share that with us or no, Andy?
Well, it's a trade and consumer show down in Fort Lauderdale beginning of January that we're putting together. And it's a real challenge, but at the same time, it's been well received. I will say this, since I talked to you yesterday, Mike, it's so important that as travel advisors that we answer our phones when they ring, because I called so many travel agents yesterday, and like you said, 80% of them didn't even pick up their phones. They let it go to voicemail. Mm-hmm. And they really need to be picking up their phones when they ring. You know, it's just amazing how many people let it go to voicemail.
Well, you know, it's you're 100% right. And if I'm shopping around and I get voicemail and versus someone who answers the phone like an intelligent, squared away person, I know where I'm going. And the caveat of that, Andy, is that I get a lot of people who tell me that they're out of office. And I don't want, if I'm calling you to help, I want you in the office. Now, if you could be out of the office, but don't tell me you're out of the office. And or check your emails and say I'll get back to you within 4 hours or something. But too many people, it's an epidemic. They're saying if I can tell people on email I'm out of the office, I can then cherry pick who I want to call back. Well, we know your game. We know the game. And don't tell me you're out of the office. You'll be back a week from Tuesday or whatever it is. Just give me something that I can believe in, and then get back to me, or don't. You know, it's up to you. You don't have to.
Yeah,
I
just
regularly.
I real quick.
You start doing it right.
Out of the 90 calls I made yesterday, 15 people answered, and I got email from them.
Jesus.
Out of 90, 15 people answered. Everything else went to voicemail.
Yep. Yep. I mean, that's how hungry. You know, it's the way you want to run your. But I just I don't think it's the way to do it. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Andy. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Jen, did you get on the line? Jen, do you want to say something?
I did get on the line, and I'm just enjoying listening to everybody.
Hey, Jen, you're there. How are you?
I'm new. I'm just getting started, and I just, you know, and
you're just listening. You're just a sponge, right?
That's it.
You're the sponge. Okay. I thought Bob Schaefer was the sponge, but now Jen is the sponge. Okay. Well, welcome to
I'm
the
the
group.
sponge.
You can see we're a bunch
Thank
of
you.
wacky people.
That's good.
That's good. That's exactly right. Exactly right. And speaking of wacky people, Christy, you have something to share?
Yeah, I'm here. I had a question, though, back to your comment on out-of-office emails. So what do you say that we should put on there when we're out of town traveling on a fam or something and be able to always see the emails?
Well, I'd say I'm out on a business call. You could say send so and so's taking my calls, or I'm going to check this call every Tuesday. I mean, we know that if you are out, you're out. I mean, if you're on a cruise, you're on a cruise. I mean, I'm not saying dodge the truth. I'm just suggesting that a lot of people are using that stunt, thinking that you're buying time. So I call you, you're on a cruise. I call you next week, you're on a cruise. I call you in 3 weeks, you're on a cruise. I call you, but you're not on a cruise. It's just your way of saying I'll screen your call and get back to you if I want to. If you're on a cruise, for heaven's sakes, that's where you are. So you can tell me that if you want.
Okay.
I'm just saying a lot of people use it as the crutch, and we're onto those tricks. I'm onto those tricks anyway.
I mean, I say I'm gone on a trip to Hawaii from this date to this date. I will be checking, emails and returning voicemails.
There you go.
So
Perfect.
Something like that. But that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. And then you return without. I don't want you to go on a cruise ship and return emails because you'll go broke. But when you get to a port, you run into a little cafe and you just say, "Hey, listen, got your email. Call you next Tuesday." Bingo. That's the end of story. Or you can do what a lot of people do is they have somebody read their emails for them when you're gone so they can respond. I mean, I have no problem with that where you say, hey, listen, I see you're trying to get in touch with Mike. He's out of whack until next Tuesday. If it's an emergency, is there something I can do or you want to wait? And they'll all wait. But the fact is you're paying attention. You're listening and you're paying attention. That's the key.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, I don't agree with people putting, things on there if they're really not there just to, like you said, cherry-pick the calls. But,
if you're really out of town, that's it. I mean, and here's the other caveat. It's a catch-22. If you're always out of town, then you're not going to help me. So I don't want to do business with you. I mean, God bless you. Go take all the fam trips and learn about the world. But, I need somebody today. So you just... I want you to learn the business, but understand that I need somebody when I call you, I want you to answer the phone.
Yeah, and I got on late, so I'm not sure what other people are talking about, but I'm in the midst of kind of trying to start going out on my own a little bit and away from the brick and mortar that I'm an independent contractor on.
Well, that's cool. Well, congratulations. You're gonna love it.
So, well, I mean, I'm not going to go home base, but I'm looking at little small offices. I have a domain name, and I'm looking at website options and logos. I wanted to thank you too. You mentioned in one of the meetings about the 5RR.
Yeah.
Although you mentioned them for doing something else, but I've actually put out for a couple of people to do like a business logo.
Yeah, they do anything.
Yeah. So that's been great so far. So that was such a find for me doing.
Oh, cool. For people who don't know, I know Joe Santoni used them once. I used them. Christy used them. It's 5RR. www.5RR.com. And all it is a clearinghouse for home-based talented people. And they'll do anything. I mean, you look through the website that you want a voice. You want somebody to sound like Elvis to answer your phone, or some guy will do that for you. So I mean, it's just fun, and I'm glad it worked out for you, Christy. Good.
So I'm making that. That's my big change that I'm trying to work on. So I'd like to get that all set up. So when wave season starts in January, I'm ready to roll with that.
Perfect. And my only caution, without knowing all of the soups and nuts and bolts, is that just remember, overhead is a killer.
Oh yes.
Just remember. So you don't need curtains. And one pencil is enough until you can start really cooking.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at a really small business center that has like 250 square feet offices that they rent for $300 a month, including all utilities.
That's good. I mean, that's just know that you've got to go out and you got to pay the overhead before you start putting bread in your mouth. So just be careful. And then Christy, make it happen. Just make it work. Use the 12-word marketing plan. Get up, get out, and make more people glad they know you.
I know it.
There you go. That's it. Say you listen. You're a good student. Okay, let me see. Hey, Marty Gibson, anything from Marty? Marty's relatively new. Probably taking it in. Taking copious notes. Marty's taking copious notes. But let me explain one more time what we're doing here, folks. This is called Open Mic Week. We have sales meetings every other week, and I just wanted to be available to people if they wanted me to. So this is optional, and I still am not convinced that, I guess if there's one person, it's enough. That's right. But it's an opportunity to talk to a third or fourth party, and now this is great when other people are chiming in because now we get the benefit from each other. And it's just an optional, not every other week, called Open Mic. And for I'm saying that for Jen and Marty and who else is new. It's a non-formal chat on the phone. That's all. You can hang up anytime you want, come whenever you want. And if you come and no one's here, it means nobody came. I pick up the phone. If someone's there, we stay. If they're not there, I go back to work. So anyone else before we wrap things up here on what is it, Wednesday? Holy cow.
Oh, my God, it's hump day.
Yes, good. The week's flying as they always do. Getting cold up here in the north.
Well, I don't know about anybody else, but I like it. It's like brainstorming.
Yeah, that's all.
You don't always hear something new, but you get a new slant on just about everything.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, you're right, Joe.
And for a home-based guy, that's a handy thing.
Yes, it is.
You know, you don't have the interaction that you would have in an office.
And I'll say thank goodness for that.
Isn't that the truth?
Okay, last chance. Mr. Schaefer, anything to wrap up? No. Okay, yep. Ned, how about sorry,
I'm
Bob.
Good.
You're good. Bob's good. You know the old saying, if Bob's good, I'm good. All right. Well, listen, sorry about, the reason why we changed was because I realized that with the GoToMeeting, I don't think everybody can get on the line. GoToWebinar. With the GoToWebinar, you can't get on the line. With the GoToMeeting, you can. So that's why I changed that last minute. Hey, and listen, here's a news flash. I'm on Module 10. I'm uploading my boot camp in a box. And it's, just so you know, I'm uploading to our website our boot camp in a box. And that was a product I had that I sold for $400. And I'm uploading it to the website so you guys can have it. So I sell it for $400. But I'm putting it up there for the inner circle, and that is what kicked me in the backside and saying this $15 or $20 a month, I says, this has got to stop. So, again, I will go public to say anybody who's in this club now is going to stay there at the grandfathered fee, whatever you're paying. But anyone new, I'm going to give a couple of blasts if they want to come in now, but it's going up to $50 a month because I'm putting up some really cool stuff up there, and they're going to have to pay to hear it and pay to get into these sales meetings. So I think consider yourself fortunate that you got in when you did. I hope you're not going away right away, and if you are, I say, all the best to you. But that's it for today. I'm going to speak to sailboat people next week in Newport. Maybe I'll have some neat stories there.
Oh, spinnakers.
Yeah, the president's coming in from Australia, so if I do a good job, I could end up in Australia. Who knows? But anyway, that's what I'm up to next week. And we have a sales meeting on Wednesday, and I'll talk to you when I talk to you. So thanks for coming in on Open Mic Wednesday, and you know where to find me, and have a great rest of the day.
Thanks,
Michael?
Hi, this is Mike Marshev again, and we just finished Open Mic Wednesday, and I want to apologize for a couple of things. Number one, a couple of people tried to get in, and they couldn't get into the GoToMeeting program today. I don't know why. We have recorded it, so I hope this will suffice. I just, I'm at a loss of why you couldn't get in. We did have a handful of people who did get in, And number two, I did promote that we were going to dissect the sales letter, and we never got to that because the people on the line and I were having so much fun that we just never got to the sales letter. So that'll come. Again, that was my sales letter, not your dialogue. Open mic is for your dialogue. So maybe during the sales meeting next week, we'll take a look at that sales letter. But not to worry, we'll cover everything. And I want to thank you for coming to the open mic sessions, and I look forward to working with you on the sales meetings and like that. So have a nice day.